This video is not suitable for all ages. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, so it's time to react to some short horror films, y'all. I'm gonna start bringing this to my channel too. So every Saturday, I'm gonna try to get short horror films out. Every Saturday. Oh, now he trying to go see what he was laughing at. Do people do this? Y'all see somebody like doing something, they forget something, and you go pick it up? I'm only doing it if I see the money. I'm lying. Cause if I see a gun, I'm taking that motherfucker too. Taking the book home. Took that book home? Is that him? Oh man, that ain't you, is it? Oh hell no. I can't deal with this type of stuff. I'm running out the house as soon as I see some shit like this happen. He walking to it. Oh, hell. No, no, no. Tied up? I'm saying though, why would you see a book that look like this demonic book, and you bring it home? People, man. Look at you. That was kinda mid, but time for the second video.
When I was 17, I had the extreme misfortune of breaking both of my legs at the same time. I had been playing football with some of my friends out behind my house in a wide open field. There was a barn that had been abandoned and was slowly rotting away. The way the barn was built, it was nestled right onto the side of the hill. So you could walk around the far end of the barn, climb up the hill, and walk onto the roof. I was being a bit of a dick during the game, and I deliberately ran through what we had marked as out of bounds and ran up the hill and across the barn roof, intending to leap down off of it and score a bogus touchdown. But due to the rain, the wooden roof beams were wet and soggy, and when the wood gave out under my feet, I crashed downwards through the ceiling and landed hard on some old farming instruments, including buckets, a set of horseshoes, and a spare tire for an old tractor.
Oh my
I'm actually
God, he just... Dude, both his knees?
Pretty lucky that I didn't get impaled by a pitchfork or anything. To make a long story short, I broke both of my legs, dislocated my left arm, and had a concussion. I was rushed to the hospital and was discharged in a wheelchair, where I was forced to stay on the ground floor of my house. One night my parents and sister decided that they wanted to go see the new Lord of the Rings movie that was playing, and kind of without warning they said they were leaving. I found myself in the house alone. At first I didn't mind. I had complete control of the TV and could play my video games as loud as I wanted to. But before long I got frustrated. Most of my games were upstairs where I couldn't get them, and couldn't reach the microwave or most of the higher cabinets from my wheelchair, so I was very limited on what I could do, and I began to feel very bitter. I rolled myself into the dining room without turning on the lights, and peeked out into the backyard, out across the field and into the barn. I'm not sure why I wanted to look back there. It was dark out, and there wasn't much to see, but I'm the type of guy who always has to be aware of his surroundings, in order for my mind to be at peace. I looked out at the stars for a few moments and was about to roll myself backwards and return to the kitchen when I saw something. By the light of the moon, I saw two figures walk out of the barn and make their way towards my house. I froze, too nervous to even let the curtain fall back in place. I made myself stare back towards the approaching figures. They weren't just walking, they were holding hands. I remember speaking out loud, "Are those kids?" I felt most of the fear melt away and was replaced by rage. Who were these brats trespassing on our property at 9 o'clock at night?
These are not no goddamn kids, dude. Call the police, bro.
We lived in a pretty secluded area, and it would have taken quite a lot of walking through the woods, in the dark, to enter our backyard from that direction. That's when I made my first mistake. I opened the window and called out to them. "Hey, what are you doing?" Both figures
My nigga, you see this in your backyard, you gotta call the police.
immediately stopped in their tracks,
See,
still holding hands, but otherwise...
I'm not calling the police. I'm gonna go get me some and I'm gonna take care of these two.
keeping completely still. "Get out of our yard," I called out. There was perhaps 5 seconds of silence before one of them called out in a voice so calm it made all the terror and fear come rushing back. "Can we come in?" The voice sounded muffled, and at this point, my eyes had adjusted to the darkness.
Call police, bro.
Now that I had a better look at them, I could tell that they weren't kids. I would say that they
No
were probably
shit.
teenagers, wearing white porcelain masks that had these
Bro, this is a grown ass man, and then this is just a young lady right here. I think.
sadistic painted smiles on them. My response died in my throat, and my hands began to shake. I slammed the window shut and wheeled myself fast back across the dining room and into the living room. I shut off the TV and lights, casting the house into darkness, and rolled into the den. I got out of my wheelchair and crawled across the floor to the window and peeked out. They were both at the same spot, still holding hands, still staring right at the house. I watched them for a few more seconds, and then one of them raised their hand and waved at me. Not in the general direction of the house, right at me. I ducked back and started freaking out and cursing. I hadn't turned on any lights. There was no way they could have seen half of my face peeking out at them from the distance in the dark. I had no idea what to do, and I didn't know if all the doors were locked, if the garage door was shut, or even when my family would be back home. I felt completely helpless, knowing that I didn't have the strength or ability to check every room in the house to make sure it was locked up tight. I went to the phone on my desk and frantically called my mom's phone, but her cell was off. She was likely in the movie. Same thing with my dad. I thought about calling the cops, but I didn't know exactly what to tell them. Sure, there was 2 people trespassing on my property, but they hadn't threatened me or attempted to break in yet. I didn't know how to put into words the sense of urgency and danger I felt. I crawled back to my wheelchair and rolled myself through the darkness and into the hallway that separated the living room and kitchen. That's when I heard a knock at the door, and I heard a muffled voice ask, "Can we come in?" I turned away from the front door and made my way towards the stairs.
Get your dumb ass on. Talking about some can I come in, boy?
Intending to climb them on my hands and knees, crawl to my room, and lock myself in there. My front door had a strip of narrow windows turning vertically down along the doorframe, and when I was nearly at the stairs, a masked face appeared through one of the windows, and shortly after I heard giggling.
They playing with you.
Upon making eye contact with the mask, the person crooked their head to the side. I froze like a deer in the headlights. All I could do was stare back. I remember it so perfectly. As I'm typing this, my hands are shaking. The mask disappeared from view, and that's when I noticed the deadbolt to the front door was unlocked. All anyone had to do was turn the knob, and they could walk right in. Then there was a knock on the back door, and another small muffled voice. I could barely hear what it said because of the sound of my heart pounding in my ears. I shut my eyes and buried my face into my hands. I heard rattling coming from the back door. I'm not very religious, but in that moment, I prayed to whoever would listen. I'm not sure how long I sat there, crying, and waiting for one of the doors to open. But after what felt like 10 minutes, I looked up. There was no one peeking through the window at me. I slid out of my chair, crawled slowly to the stairs, and into my room, where I shut the door and locked it. I'm not positive about this last part, but right before I shut the door, I glanced down in the dark hallway, and I thought I saw the shadowy outline of a dark figure slowly tiptoeing up the stairs. I locked the door and proceeded to suffer through the longest night of my life. I never heard anything else from either inside the house or outside. My parents and sister arrived after 1 a.m., and by that time my shirt was soaked through with sweat. They thought by the look on my face I had suffered a stroke or something, and nearly called the ambulance for me. I never saw these masked people again. Of course, my parents didn't believe me. Why would they? There was no evidence that someone had broken in. It was just much easier for them to conclude that I just had a nightmare. My legs have since healed, and even though I still walk with a slight limp, there was otherwise no permanent damage. If I had to choose though, I would rather break both of my legs again, just to avoid the feeling of helplessness and terror that I felt that night when I looked into the hollow black eyes of that porcelain mask.
Last final video. Don't turn around. this off the screen? Nope. Oh, yes, I can.
Let's go.
If you hear breathing, don't turn around. Yeah. Don't smile after that. Leave. Are you smiling? Baby girl. Hey, get the fuck on up out of there. She just gonna keep walking. I heard voices in my head, they kept to me, they understand, and they talk to me.
Just a day after the US finally gave permission for
They
Ukraine to
talk to
fire
me.
American long-range missiles into Russia, Kiev has done so. Its attack on a target within Russia's recognized territorial borders was confirmed by both Moscow and by officials in Washington. The change in US policy comes at a critical time. The Biden administration is due to give way to that of Donald Trump in January. Moscow says
Don't turn around. She should have left the first day she moved in.
Ukraine had fired 6 American ATACMS missiles into Russia's Bryansk region, though no reports of casualties. The response
Gotta go.
from Russia's foreign minister,
Gotta go. If you still at this house,
Sergei Lavrov, said the missile attack was a signal that the West wants to...
you dead ass? Why she just acting like nothing happened? Like I would have been gone the first day. The first time I seen that note, I would have been gone. She over here smiling and shit about it. He gotta be close on her. Her hair started to move. Don't turn around.
Who are you?
You just turned around. Oh, hell no. If she survived tonight, I'm gone. I'm gone. you still looking back? Oh, that mug gone. It's pop right in front of my face. They about to get his ass too. Unless, come on, please be smart, bro. Please be smart. He gonna do the same thing she did. Why did he smile? What was funny about that? Let me know, y'all, bro. Would y'all smile at that?
Never again. Through all the trials and tribulations, I still rose up through it all. Fuck all of y'all. When I was down bad, y'all couldn't answer my calls. I'm on my own. D&D don't wanna talk, but down my phone. You better off just leaving a message at the sound of the tone. Cause I'm okay with being Ain't no reason to be around if you ain't there when I need you. But I don't need nobody, they all fake and they see through. I can't stay for long, my name D. That was nice to meet you. Ain't trying to hurt nobody else.